no, this is not clickbait. I did blow up all my savings at the time, which was 83K by the way, yet I was still able to escape this job right here within 2 years. And you're here because you want to learn how I did that with very little money or no money at all, start a business or go into a career or do whatever you want in order to generate enough money to, again, escape. But I'm sure you're skeptical as fuck. You've probably seen a bunch of YouTube videos that tell you just,
oh yeah, just grind it more. Do your 5 a.m. wake up and then grind until 9 a.m. Go to your job and then come back at 5 p.m. and then grind again to 9 p.m. and then finally go to sleep, repeat for like however many years. Grind super hard and then you'll finally make it.
Well, that's not what I'm going to tell you because I already know. I was grinding 16 hours a day for my job pretty much already. I didn't have that additional 5 to 9 and 9 to 5. And I also was completely burned out on the weekend, so I didn't want to put in any of that time. And in fact, in my job, I made a rule to never sleep less than 6 to 9 hours. Yet, again, I was still able to get out of this in 2 years. And at the same time, within the last year since I've quit, I've been able to generate 103K solo, as well as spending 90% of my time making videos on the internet right here because I want to. Which means no more miserable 2-hour commute, no more stuffing my face at 2 a.m. with ice cream that destroys my 6-pack to try to sweeten up my bitter life at the time. No more doing what I don't want because I just have no money and have no choice but to do it. If you want that, listen up because I'm about to deliver you the thinking that allowed me to find that thing that generates me the money, then finally escape. And the reason why I give you the thinking and not the specific business model, because it's going to be different for you. If I give you to like, oh, look at my specific tactic that works for me, it works for me, not for you. You have to find something that actually works for you that you can stick to a long time, which is what's actually going to work. Or you're just trading one miserable for another miserable. Like, what good is that, right? That's not what you want. And you can do it within 2 years like me. But of course, it could take probably up to 5 years. But 5 years of time, if you ask me, is way better than the next 5 decades in a miserable life that you don't enjoy. And at the same time, again, no money required. So why wouldn't you do it? To start, let me show you your 3 needs. So what you really actually need in order to escape. And then the 3-ish paths to hit each. And I'll get into why I say ish right here. So your needs. All you have to do to escape is skills. And skills is what is able to generate money, as you probably already know. But in order to get the skills, you have to put in some time. So you have to put in time learning. And I think the best way to learn is actually do something. You do something a bunch and then you get better at it. But in order to get time, you actually need to survive that amount of time. So your actual living cost, which costs money. Things like rent, food. And you probably sort of realize here that it is sequential. So once you have the survival, you're able to put in time, which allows you to get the skills. So it really just comes down to getting the skills because the time and then the survival comes from the current position that you're in, which is probably a job. So the 3 paths are to find, create, or steal value. Find, create, steal. Finding value is more or less investing. So what this means is you find something right now in order to put your money in that either grows in value or is currently undervalued, so it goes back up to what it should be valued at. And if you take a look at how this could look in terms of if you started and let's say it takes you 5 years in order to get there, to build up enough skills, it's like you make money, a little bit of money from whatever job. So this is your survival money, which gives you time to start to take a little bit of that money and invest it. And sometimes you're wrong, of course, and you lose money. But also sometimes you're right and you make money. And this process of losing money and making money will repeat until one day you built enough skills in order to best identify things that appreciate in value, which of course means that you're going to be only losing a little bit. And overall, this average curve goes up. And eventually, once you reach a certain point, which you're generating this amount of money, a certain amount of money that you need to live, then that is when you finally escaped. In the create value route, and again, using the 5-year mark, here you're using your job simply for survival and time. You're not putting in any particular investments. Like you're not trying to find value. You're putting it in things that create value. And this is basically the 100% learning skills, which is doing something that is profitable. And what I mean by that is you literally pick something that makes money in the first place. This could be enjoy ping pong, for example. Ping pong is just a hobby in itself. You wouldn't pick that. That doesn't create any value, just playing ping pong alone. But if you take a look at, okay, what are the business models in ping pong? You could sell a ping pong course. You could become a ping pong coach. You could become like a ping pong equipment seller, like some e-commerce type of thing. Or if you're look at more of the career thing, maybe you could start becoming a part-time pro player to eventually become full-time pro player. But of course, you need to survive this time to build the skills, which then eventually you can leave and finally escape once you built up enough skill, and you just you can continue to capitalize on that skills for the rest of your time. And then we take a look at this steal route, which is, of course, scamming people. Like you become the Nigerian prince, or you do like the Bitcoin. Hey, give me 1 Bitcoin and I'll give you back 2. Or you literally go like rob a bank. This route, I mean, it makes money super fast and it makes big money if you're not an idiot. But the problem here is obviously if you get caught once, you're completely fucked, right? And honestly, the steal route probably won't even take 5 years. But regardless, how do you pick which one that you want? And actually, in the investment route, I didn't really talk about what you could do here. Like it very could be crypto trading, could be day trading, forex, real estate, or there's companies that already work that you can literally buy right now. Like go on Google and just search up businesses in my area to buy, something like that. And you could probably find some like HVAC companies, some landscaping companies, some cleaning companies, basic businesses like that you could literally buy that currently make money and you can run, which is finding value. But now onto picking the one that is right for you. I think the best way to do it is thinking about the very, very basics of each path. How do you actually walk each of them? Or what happens to you when you walk each of the 3 paths? This is it. You get fucked many times when you are walking the path, or you win many times. You get fucked long right in the beginning, and then you just win once. Or you get fucked once really fucking hard, or you win many times. How does that translate? The find route is the getting fucked many times, but then also winning many times. And then if you're successful and built up the skills, your winnings are just a bit bigger than your losings, or a lot bigger if you're really good. And that's what makes you escape. And this is what I did. I did specifically options trading, which is what I built my skills in. But again, that is also where I lost a fuck ton of money in the beginning. And then if you take a look at the create method, this is essentially burning your savings. So risking, getting fucked super long in the beginning to make absolutely nothing, putting in all your time, and you're spending your money in the terms of just survival in this area. And maybe you'll buy like a course or something like that to learn a little bit extra, or maybe invest in some software or tools that you need for the thing that you picked. But once you've built up enough skills, that is the win once scenario. And then in the steal scenario, you win many times, but then now you're only allowed to get fucked once. And then once you get fucked once, well, it's over forever. And I'm not going to tell you what to do, because you just pick the one that you prefer. And I highly recommend that you do not go with the steal route. But again, you do you. And if you're okay with getting fucked a long time and only having to win once, then you go with this. If you're kind of like, you like those smaller losses, and then also the more consistent wins, then finding value might be better for you. But there's, of course, paths or ways to walk the path within each that I mentioned. Like you could do stocks, crypto, forex, whatever. And then in the creating, there's like basically infinite opportunities too. And this also, different careers also fall into here. And just choose the one that you prefer. But of course, you don't want to be trying to walk any of these paths and spend all your money and spend all your time. Just burn all your money from the job that you're working right now to only get no results, and then therefore get stuck in the job forever, and then die at like 45 with your obesity and bitter ice cream eating and miserable commutes. You don't want that. You actually want to be able to effectively build up the skills to finally reach that threshold, which gets you to escape. And again, I've done it for myself with the 103K. So I can tell you how to actually consistently guarantee results. And that's to consistently increase the incline. And what I mean by that for both business and career, because of course I did do both, right? I had this career and it is something that I did choose and I did enjoy. I just try to move towards the things that I do alone, which we be considered business, because I do prefer that. For business, to start with, it is to do shit, get results, adjust. So what that means in both trading and creating value is in trading, I lost the 83K. That's what I lost it in. But also including that 83K, which is not just one big loss that was throughout the year. It's a bunch of little losses. There was actually one that was like actual like 60K lost in one go. But each of those things, it's because I tried something different. So I tried like crypto trading. I tried leverage trading. I tried spreads, different type of option strategies, actually doing Forex at one point, trying to do some kind of bot automation, different types of crypto trading. Each of these things, if you think about it, is the same skill, the same path of finding value, but it's getting more difficult in a sense. So I'm risking my time and money into something that is increasing the incline, increasing the amount of skills that I have. So then I can either decide based on the results that I get, whether it was one of these wins or one of these losses, to adjust my strategy to eventually get to a winning strategy. It was all about the learning. Sure, it was lost, but I could only do that learning because I tried these different things. I consistently increased the difficulty of what I was going to do, continued to actually have to use my brain to get to a point to literally adjust my neurons to a point that actually is able to generate money. Versus the alternative, let's say you tried like crypto trading right in the beginning. You put in a 10x trade using the money that you earned from your job, and you failed, you lost all of it. But then you did it again. And every single time you're trying to like, oh
Yeah, I could have made like 100,000x on this. I'll just try it again. And one day I'm going to hit it big and get lucky.
Well, the thing is, you're not building up any skills there. You're just trying to get rich quick, which is what never works. Getting rich quick, chasing the money instead of the skills has nothing to do with the initial 3 needs, which is why it doesn't work. It misses out on the skills, which is what you actually need to escape, not money, skills. So that is how it works with finding, and that's how it worked for me. If you go into the more create method of business, you can see that I'm making videos on the internet right now. It's because I kind of do want to move into the create path a bit, because the finding path, I found that if you're really good at trading, you're really good at finding value, those skills are actually kind of locked into the find path. So I do want to move into the more create path myself, which is why I started this channel. And the point here that I want to make is I did spend 8.3K on a course. And you know what? Previous to buying the course, I told myself, I was like, once I get 1,000 views, 3 videos in a row, I'm ready to buy the course, ready to explode my channel. And well, the thing is, finally buying the course like earlier in this year, you know what? I did not blow up my channel at all. I actually got 100 times less views because I started following their like script method or whatever, ways to make thumbnails, or because they were like, oh yeah, you have to use a teleprompter, you have to write your videos, you have to do all these things. And it doesn't work for me. But the thing is, I tried, right? I put my money into it. I tried to learn a new skill, and that eventually led me to this point here. And of course, I don't know how this video is going to go. I do think it's going to go much better just because of all the things that I learned not to do, because I got the result of absolutely nothing. And that shit result is the result in itself, and it told me to adjust. And I did adjust it. It's sort of like a mix of what I did before, which didn't work in the course, and then also what I did previously that did work. It's more of a hybrid, which I think is way better. Again, time will tell for my specific situation. But again, you're going to risk time, you're going to risk money on things, but every single thing is doing shit, then getting the result, good or bad, and then adjusting to whether to not do that thing or to do more of that thing if you got a good result. And the summary of it is where your money goes, and I would add time here, is where you put your risk. And where you put your risk is where you get the reward, very simply. So that's why if you're risking in a winning strategy, you're going to keep winning. If you're risking in a bad strategy, then you're not going to keep winning. So keep your time and money focused on as much as possible on what keeps moving you forward on your path, and that's what's going to get you to the final escape. And for a career, for example, within this career here, I actually got promoted to senior analyst in a year and a half, which the normal time frame is something more like 3 years. And just before I quit, actually, if I stayed there for like 2 more months, so stayed there for my 3rd year, so right on my 3rd year mark, I would have been promoted to a lead, which is like a manager type position, which most people don't get for like 6 to 8 years. And the reason I was able to do that is, again, the same thing. It's just to do shit, get results, and then adjust. But within a career, it's a little bit different. You're focused more on you rather than the business. You're doing shit for yourself in terms of skills for the business. So building yourself to be more value for the business instead. And what I mean by that is like they give you something. They gave me something within my job, a task to do, and they're like, oh, this is the way you do it. This is how everybody does it, and it works. Sure, it works. But maybe you have some additional skills that could make it better. You see the process and you can make it better. Or you did a little bit of research beforehand. You're like, oh yeah, I could make it better if I just went and learned that skill. So what I did, I literally went to go work on the weekends to learn a skill, to then come back on the weekdays to do a process way faster and way better. And then I delivered that result and they're like, oh fuck, this is super good. And eventually, by doing these adjustments to the business, by building myself, that's why I get way more results. And sure, some people might think it's not worth it. Like, why the fuck are you killing yourself doing extra work for a company that's not yours? Well, if you think about what you're actually getting, I put in a couple hours on the weekend to learn something, maybe 2 to 4 more hours per day if you actually do the math. That's only 15 to 30% more time that you spend. And I got a 100% return on it, right? Getting promoted 2 times faster than somebody else. Literally my salary going from 77K to 150K 2 times faster. So if you ask me, it's way worth it. If you ask other people, maybe it's not. They want to chill. They want to have their work-life balance. But I mean, if you get the money faster, you could probably escape faster. But you might be thinking right now, I don't even have a skill that I'm super certain I actually want to commit to for years and years and years. Or I'm stuck on a specific thing, on a skill. I can't really make any progress. If that is your issue right now, I do have something to help you. You can tell me about your problem, get direct feedback, get you unstuck and actually moving forward. If you're interested in that, you can look at the top link in the description. If not, let's continue on here. You might be thinking, well, I need money to actually start investing. I need money to start my particular business. And my job doesn't make enough money, so I spend all my money surviving, which then makes it so I can never really start anything, which means I'm stuck in this constant cycle of eating ice cream at 2 a.m., trying to sweeten up my bitter life, and then 2 hours of commute, and then becoming obese and dying 10 decades later, miserable for my entire life. Well, let me tell you how to make it only a matter of time, not money, so you never really get stuck in that cycle in the first place. So that is to work your job for money to survive, to keep the risk capacity high, and then risk on what you want long term. And what I mean by that is, let's say your savings is this. You have this amount of savings. It doesn't really matter what it is. It literally doesn't matter. A portion of that savings or the portion of that income that you have goes towards just surviving. Let's say this portion right here. And then the final portion is you're probably just saving this money up. And this money, of course, could be used to, just buy whatever, right? Ideally, you'd be actually spending this on one of the paths. So whether that is investing or that is actually spending on things to create value. But the limiter here is not money. Let's say this cost of living here is about 2K per month, and you have a total amount of money here is just 20K. So you have 20K dollars, your money to just survive is 2K. That is a 10-month survival time, which is honestly, that's not enough, right? Because you need 2 to 5 years in order to survive. But think about this. Could you actually just cut your living expenses in half or cutting it to almost zero? I have basically zero expenses at this point, maybe $100 per month, like phone bill and shit like that, just because I moved back to my parents. So $100 per month. And then now you think about this 20K. This 20K is able to get you something like 200 months of time just from that simple change alone. 200 months of time is like 15 years about. I think a little bit more than that. But 15 years is way more than enough in order to get this 2 to 5 years, right? You have 3x enough risk capacity to then spend on getting this skill. And you know what? That additional 10 years that you have can now be used to actually go into buying things like software, buying a course, having more money to invest in order to go through more cycles of these many wins and many losses, or just to speed up the process of learning. So shortening this long fuck time simply by the fact of putting more money on it in order to basically just get fucked a little bit harder, to learn a little bit faster, so then you can capitalize on the win a little bit faster as well. And the reason why I say this is actually not a matter of money, but a matter of time is because it's just all about survival. It's about putting in the time to get the skills. And the easiest way to do that is just decrease your expenses, which in turn lets you have this excess risk capacity. And at this point, that doesn't mean you have to quit your job. Sure, maybe you can, but you don't want to take that, you don't want to burn your bridges like that. You want to maybe build up a bit safer path. You still have this 10-year capacity in terms of money as well, because you don't really need that money anymore. You're growing this portion that you could put into the other types of investments. So that makes it only a matter of time. But you might be thinking right now, I am grinding 16 hours a day in my job. I'm coming back completely exhausted. So I have no time during the day. I also have no time during the weekends because I'm just destroyed, or I'm completely burned out. So even if I do have time, I can't really think. So I can't learn anything. I can't do anything. Well, if you want to know how to recover your time and also use the time that you have most effectively, you can watch this video right here. If your burnout is more of the problem and you're getting distracted all the time playing video games, can't really do anything, then watch this video right here to solve that.